Yo, check the mic, 1, 2. SNXRadio, typical skeptic crew. Friday night, we're back in the booth, dropping truth bombs, igniting the proof.
Robin Coley, cosmic collision, unidentified open transmission. From Area 51 to Skinwalker Ranch, declassify the files, give truth a chance. Bass drum thumping, a sonic boom, we're breaking down the walls of every room. Skeptical minds unite tonight, underneath the stars bathed in moonlight. Truth serum flowing through the veins, open your mind, break the chains. Question everything, challenge the norm, ride the cosmic wave, weather the storm. Truth serum flowing, take a dose, unravel the secrets, expose what's closed. Join the movement, the skeptical quest, for the hidden knowledge put to the test.
Cryptids creeping, in the shadows deep, ancient mysteries, secrets they keep. Bigfoot's footprints, Loch Ness's grace, unexplained phenomena, time and space.
We're chasing ghosts with EMF readers, searching for answers, cosmic leaders, digging for the truth beneath the surface, uncover the lies with a lyrical purpose. Truth serum flowing through the veins, open your mind, break the chains, question everything, challenge the norm, ride the cosmic wave, weather the storm. Truth serum flowing, take a dose, unravel the secrets, expose what's closed. Join the movement, the skeptical quest, for the hidden knowledge put to the test.
From Roswell crashes to ancient lore, we're exploring the unknown and so much more. Conspiracy theories, twisted and true, uncover the answers, me and you.
Truth serum flowing through the veins, open your mind, break the chains, question everything, challenge the norm, ride the cosmic wave, weather the storm. Truth serum flowing, take a dose, unravel the secrets, expose what's closed. Join the movement, the skeptical quest, for the hidden knowledge put to the test.
SNX and typical skeptic sign off. Keep searching for truth, turn the lights off, I'll keep them on, whatever you choose. Just keep questioning, never lose that skeptical spark, that curious fire. Explore the unknown, take it higher.
Ready for the flight. Together we'll shine, casting shadows aside, in the heart of the rhythm where our dreams collide.
Join the sub-nation, next quest, the truth is our guide. In the vast expanse, it's where we reside. Hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the grooves around us, everything's alright.
From the sub-nation, next quest, the truth is our guide. In the vast expanse, it's where we reside. Hands up to the sky, let the bass ignite. Feel the grooves surround us, everything's alright. SNXRadio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bring shadows to light. In this cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spots. Heavy bass drops with tight beats.
Illuminate the shadows, the echo of our call.
On this roller ring will never fall.
Feel the energy rising, can you sense the spark? As we dive deeper into the cosmic arc.
Stories of the universe, mysteries unfold. In the heart of SNX, where the truth is gold. Every note we play, every line we write, crafting our legacy, shining ever bright.
SNXRadio, let the truth ignite. Together we'll shine, bring your shadows to light. In the cosmic dance, we're connecting the dots.
Tune into the frequency, let's explore the spot. Here in the spotlight, we're taking our turn. With the fire in our hearts, let the passion burn. SNXRadio's call, ringing through the air. Together we rise, together we dare.
So join us now, let the rhythm flow. With SNXRadio, we're ready to go. Unraveling the mystery side by side we stand, hand in hand. In this dance of truth, let the story expand.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of SNXRadio. I'm Coley and Rob from Typical Skeptic Podcast doing our collab. So as normal, I'm going to go and continue to drop this link live and hand it over to Rob. I'm going to unmute him.
In both the chats tonight, and like I said, I announced this last time, but we're working on it this month. Like we're gonna make our own YouTube channel for the show, and we're gonna make our own podcast feed and Facebook group and everything. So that's all gonna be coming this month. So one of the things we wanted you guys to do was come up with a like if you've seen the shows we've done together so far and you like it, come up with a good name that you think we can use for a podcast for our collab show. What do you think we should call it? And, put it in the chat, or you can leave it in the comments, leave a comment on Rumble or here or on Twitter or wherever you're watching from. And I'm really excited about my guest tonight. I've had him on my show before, and I know Coley's had him on her show. So this is the first time we'll be interviewing them together. We have the amazing AAGE NOST. I wrote Typical Skeptic Podcast teams up again with SNXRadio for a mind-bending conversation with AAGE NOST, the Norwegian-born author, metaphysics researcher, pilot, broadcaster, and consciousness explorer. AAGE shares his lifelong study of universal consciousness, metaphysics, UFOs, and the holographic nature of reality. From his books, Spiritual Science and Universal Success Principles, to his work on Broadcast Team Alpha, NOST brings forward advanced teachings on how to access the universal mind and shape our reality. And with all that said, I'd like to give him a big warm welcome to the show. AAGE, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
Thank you. I love to be here again. I like the saying goes, I never met a microphone that I didn't like, so I'm going to have fun.
Yeah.
Guys, I have a question for you. Which one of you created that lead-in video? That was good.
Coley made that. Coley made that. She's amazing with it. Yeah.
Thank you. That's really nice. Yeah, thanks.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
Good. Man,
I really appreciate that.
Keep that one.
That's really nice. All
right. Well, I guess we're probably going to end up in every corner of the universe tonight. So if the universe had corners, we would be there. And I don't know, where do you guys want to start?
Well, I know that a lot of the audience probably knows about you, but tell the audience a little bit about yourself for people that might have not saw one of our shows that you've done with either of us before.
Yeah. Well, I know I talked to Coley and we talked about the holographic universe, and that's something that people hear about it, but they say, yeah, sure, of course, but they don't believe it because everything they see is so solid and so believable. And once you start expanding your mind outside of the Newtonian science into quantum mechanics, all of this that we're talking about also becomes real in understanding. If you start looking at all the scientific experiments, repeatable scientific experiments that prove we live in a mind-created universe, everything is connected. There is no distance between us here and Han in Beijing, China. How can that be? Well, it's because quantum entanglement proves that at the quantum level, everything is connected. There is no distance. And there's some science behind this. And I found a way to explain this so actually a 10-year-old can understand it, because I remember Albert Einstein. He said he's quoted as saying, if you don't, if you're not able to explain quantum physics to a 12-year-old and he understand it, you don't understand it well enough. Now, there is this scientist. His name is James Gates, and he has spent most of his life investigating the universe on the blackboard. And he says when we look deep, really deep into the fundamental particles that explains the fabric of space, we find computer language. And we didn't put it there. So there is computer language in the fabric of space. And that don't necessarily mean a lot to people, but think about it. It's hard to believe, but the genetic code has computer language in it. So it shouldn't be that hard to understand and accept. But James Gates, he says that where there is a computer language, there's got to be a computer somewhere. And this is something that is hard to wrap our heads around. I would like to point to the one, I'd rather find out who's sitting at the computer. And I found them. I found two of them. You guys. Each one of you is sitting at your own computer. And you are creating in your reality around you on the basis of your beliefs, what you think, what you say, what you do, what you allow to dwell in your mind the most. And boy, oh boy, that can be scary to some people.
So true. A lot of truth right there. A lot of truth.
Yeah, that one is tricky.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
got
a
a
lot of
question for
truth.
you, Aggie, do you think we're collectively creating our reality, like everybody, or do you think there's also like maybe like a, you know, how people say there's like stuff on the dark side of the moon? Like, do you think there's like a mainframe simulation computer like somewhere on the moon or maybe in Antarctica or somewhere that like the controllers of this reality access, or do you think it's more like we're creating this reality collectively as human, you know?
I think you're right, because there is an underlying, commonly accepted set of physics that regulates the universe. And we are created within that commonly accepted understanding, which means like gravity works. That's commonly understood. But there is a way to bypass that by individual creation. In fact, I've seen it. I've seen somebody that is able to levitate. So that there is always, our mind has the power to override the common understanding of the universe. And if we look at that could start explaining a few things. I don't think the seat of it all is on our moon. I think it is in the fabric of space. Like gravity is created by the fabric of space, curved space actually. But I think there is things on the moon that you talked about that also help regulate us, because there are bases inside. And let me just dwell back on the mind created universe, and that to explain and kind of logically let people understand how this mind created universe could be possible. And that is that I'm a hypnotist, and some of you have heard me tell this story, but If I put you in a soft chair and talk to you for about 10 minutes and I tell you that when you wake up, you're going to see an elephant standing over there next to you. You might be on the 34th floor of an apartment building. It doesn't matter. That elephant will be there. Because I snap my finger and I tell you, there's the elephant. And if you look over, you're going to see the elephant. You're coming out of a hypnotic trance that in you, down deep in the theta range of brainwave patterns, you accepted my suggestion that there was an elephant over there. And that subconscious mind starts creating out of memory what an elephant looks like, so it places it right there because you believed me. And now you can reach out and touch the snout on that elephant, and it is physically real to you. Feel the rough skin. What happened? That elephant is real to you, but there's a problem. I can't see it because there is no elephant there. But to you, you created that elephant. So what's the difference between that elephant and that computer that you're sitting here looking at? There is absolutely no difference, only to the degree that it is surrounded and built.
Yeah, I got a question, Augie. Like, if I agree with you. I believe we're creating a large part of our reality. I do agree with that. But like, how can we explain the unexpected bad things that happen to us in our life? Like, like when things just kind of happen out of nowhere. Are we somehow co-creating that? Like, or is that like, are there twists in the matrix that maybe we're not aware of that kind of throw like monkey wrenches into our life plan or whatever? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, those monkey wrenches that comes into our life, unexpected bad things, most likely they would show up because that you have been worried about things, maybe worried about that thing or worried about other things. Negative vibrations seems to match the negative vibrations in your mind match the negativity of the vibration already sitting in the quantum field, ready as potential for physical creation. So you draw it out of there and it becomes physically in your reality. So, but then again, that's the negative part. But the good parts, they work the same way. If you are concentrating and you visualize and you with emotion and feeling and love create something in your mind, that goes into the field, in the universal mind, quantum field or whatever you call it, and it matches vibration and you start pulling it back into the physical with you. So it will show up physical in your reality.
Wow.
Now, there's a good example on that. Nori Love and I, we put together this mastermind, and we are doing incredible things. We are creating out of seemingly nothing sometimes. There was one time where one of the members, he said, my wife is in the hospital with COVID. No, not that long ago, actually. That thing is still around, according to TV. But he said she's in the hospital, and tomorrow they're going to put her on the ventilator and give her that Ren, that thing that they give you to shut down the breathing, all the good stuff that the doctors make money on. So we wrapped our mind around her and we visualized her walking out of the hospital perfectly healthy. What we didn't think about at the time is that is theoretically impossible. They will not let you walk out of the hospital. They put you in a wheelchair and roll you out. But the next day in the afternoon, John called me and he said, my wife is home. And the most brilliant thing I could think of saying was, huh? And He said that the doctor told her, you recovered so fast, there was no reason for us to keep you any longer. We do a lot of these things. So that is messing with the universal consciousness of we create out of seemingly nothing physically, but there is no such thing as nothing. That incident was already created, sitting in the quantum field, ready to draw into the physical. When we had a lot of people thinking and directing our attention in the same direction, that's the mastermind. When two or more minds are united in harmony, they create a third mind. A mind that has potential mind power, the two or more that multiply by each other. That is powerful. Everybody.
Wow.
Yeah. Everybody should have a mastermind. One at home. Your family is a mastermind. Church groups is a mastermind if you sit together and you know what you want to create, concentrate on, visualize it, feel it, have intention for doing it, and see yourself already in possession of it. That is the language the universal mind understands and will react to. Call it God if you like. It listens to. Make any
Wow.
sense?
Yeah, a lot of sense. But I've never heard it like that. That you're kind of co-creating a third mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
We create this bubble of consciousness energy that has very creative power in it, and that's what happened to that lady.
Well, isn't it true, Augie, that we're supposed to be here to be creator beings? Certainly, and then when we find our life path, or maybe what we're really supposed to do, and it's like creative, and we're in our we're like you're kind of in the flow state. Isn't that like what we all want to achieve, maybe? And are we meant to be creator beings here?
You got it. I couldn't have said that any better. That was exactly it. We came here for a purpose. We just didn't show up on Earth for the purpose of getting born, growing up, going to work, coming home, falling on the couch after your dinner, watching TV all night, and just on a weekend you feel good for 2 days, and then you go back to miserable life at work again. We didn't come here for that. We came here to grow and learn, to gain more and higher spiritual capacity. You got it.
Wow. Well said. Do you think everybody here is a creator, or do you think some people are not?
Oh yeah, we create every day. Sometimes we create all the time, and we don't even think of it or know it.
Some people just seem like they're not quite of the same realm. Like it's more like they're a part of the, like the cars that keep going around, or things like that.
Like they're
They
NPCs,
seem like they're more
non-player characters.
Yeah.
Like they're the background characters. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's because people don't think. Now there are different forms of thinking. You have the regular day-to-day thinking that's everybody's doing, and I do every day. It's just, but there are other times when we can sit down and engage higher conscious thinking. That is usually coming and is available to us when we sit down and go into a meditative state, or we sit down and go into quiet contemplation, like the Christians like to call it, because you can't meditate being a Christian.
Nope, can't do that.
But there, when you close the mind down in quietness, the field, the universal mind, God, will talk to you. And if you don't ask for anything, well, then you get what the field or what the universal mind wants you to know or see or experience. If you ask for something, there will be an answer. There will come an answer. Now the question is, When the answer comes, did you catch it? Because it can come as a fleeting thought, just going right through your mind in about 2 seconds, and it's gone. You got to catch it. Once you ask the universal mind for something, be aware of unusual thoughts or solutions to things that you really need. When it comes, be open to catch it so you can dwell on it and understand it and analyze it and do something with it. Mindfulness.
Careful what you wish for. Yeah.
There should be a lot more of that, but our society doesn't teach it. Meditation is something that in the East, the Far East, pretty much everybody does it. Even in China, religions are banned.
Wow.
There are groups of people getting together in prayer or mindfulness or meditation. I mean, if the government find out, they're going to give you a hard time.
Sure.
Some of them really hard time. But you don't have to tell anybody. This is an individual thing. I have been meditating since I was probably about 17, something like that.
Yeah. What do you think the role of the extraterrestrials is, Augie? Because we had a question like from Polly in the chat. She wants to know. She says, "How do aliens understand consciousness, and how do they expect us to learn it and spread it?" She says.
I would say most higher developed alien races, they understand consciousness really well. Now there are some that probably doesn't, but they have highly evolved technology, but don't really understand consciousness well. But oh, this is good. Earlier today, I did an interview with Dan Willis.
I love Dan Willis. He's awesome.
He is phenomenal. He explained about the two Pleiadian scientists that he is working with, putting together electronic and crystal apparatuses. And they are working. The science they're giving him is working. And he's going to be in Dubai here next month talking to a large group of scientists. And they want to know what he can create with crystal technology. They created a communication device that they work between the United States and Japan. They were playing music back and forth out of a crystal that wasn't plugged into anything. So there is this is going to be on a roundtable conference that we're going to do with in early November.
That's cool.
So yeah, consciousness is very highly understood among extraterrestrials. In fact, the Pleiadians he's talking about, they understand it so well. They understand how to see the future because they step out of the physical where everything, past, present, and future, is in the now. And they have a look at the future. They know what is going to happen. And that is why I am not, and he is absolutely not worried about the future. It's going to be good. He said that there are two different timelines going into future. I see there's more than two, but he said there's two. One of them is laid down and it's rock solid. It cannot be changed. And that timeline goes into the future where we have a wonderful future with huge, great technology of free energy and medicine and med beds. They're being made in a cavern on the moon right now. There are thousands of them ready to go. And he said that the other timeline, it will bring us there, But how we get there is up to us. It could be rocks in the road and a few turns in order to get there. I think there is more than two timelines because we create our own timeline whenever we make major decisions going into different directions. And
I
we
believe
are,
that's
yeah,
how I understood it too. When those big forks in the road or something really, you're breaking off the timeline. Is that
yeah,
how you kind of think it? Okay.
yeah. When you got the fork in the road, take it.
Mm.
So I would say that an example on that. I was born back in Norway on a farm, and I was supposed to be a farmer. I went through agricultural college, got my degree there, and I was supposed to be a farmer. But I figured that I didn't want to do that the rest of my life. So I was riding back seat with a friend of mine that was taking flying lessons, and I realized on the first time, this is what I want to do.
Ah,
And from there on, I started to build a dream around it. I visualized myself flying an airplane, sitting with yoke in the left hand and the right hand on the thrust levers. I saw myself flying through clouds. I did it every
amazing.
day, probably for, oh, I don't know, a couple of years. And there were no chance on me. The money was not there for me to go to the United States and spend 50 grand getting a flight, education. It
It's
wasn't there.
expensive.
But
Yes.
the opportunity came and I left. I came to the United States and became a professional pilot, and that's what I did. I fulfilled the dream. That's what dreams will do to you if you fuel them.
Yeah, and we were talking behind.
That's really well
I
said.
am also a pilot. I went to aviation school, and so we were back there, and we were talking about it. And I said I said, it really takes a lot of courage. You're out there, and that first time you go to solo, and they're like, your flight instructor hops out, and they're like, your airplane, and you're just like, I mean, you got to land that, you got to correct for wind, and you're going to do it 3 touch and goes, and it's just like, am I ready for this? Am I not ready for this? And I was just talking and I said, you can't forget that moment. I said, somebody has so much courage when they get out there and you're able to do that. And just what you did with it is so incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So I know that's amazing. That really is.
I don't think anybody is ready for the very, very first time on your own.
No way.
It's something that it scared the chocolate out of me just first time.
Oh,
And
it's brutal. It really is. Yeah.
oh man, oh man. I yeah, that was a tough one. It was, you're supposed to do 3 touch and goes.
Yep.
I didn't. I made it to the second one, and that was enough for me. I went back. So, but I'll tell you, I thought for about the next 30 seconds, we'll talk to young guys out there in college, or if you had kids going to college. Robots are coming. When you get out of college, I don't care what you're going to be. If you're going to be a doctor, attorney, you're going to be anything else, engineer, there will be no jobs for you. That's all done, gone by the time you graduate from college, because robots are going to take your work. But there's one profession, extremely well paid profession, where they always be used for you, and that is aviation and pilots. There will always be a human in the cockpit of an airplane, because people will never accept getting on an airplane flying with no human in the cockpit. I don't care. I use autopilot. Autopilot is a good friend, but can he make the kind of decisions that a human can do on the basis of experience? No.
Absolutely not. They had remember the Airbuses where they had the automatic land on those, and they were coming in. They couldn't control them at some. They disarmed them. They were not safe. There's no way anybody should. And he said that. It took me till the second time he repeated it to really digest that. Nobody's going to get on an airplane like that. No one.
Yeah.
They were talking, you know, it was funny. They were talking about this is totally obvious. So they were talking, this comedian was talking the other day about the planes they used to have back in the 80s. Like you said, those Airbuses. They said they used to have like pianos on planes and people were like smoking and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was a whole, they made them like luxurious. They made like gambling planes where you could gamble on the, you know, like all kinds of stuff, you know. It was
747. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that there's all kinds of things, different parts of the world, but I tell you that the money for a pilot is good. I had a friend retire after, I think he flew for 30 years, but the last year he had $475,000 for sitting in an airplane watching gauges.
Wow.
So the money is good.
Wow.
And there's stuff you get to do on the back end, you know, like you're going up and tail spinning and like they're putting you flipping that thing upside down. I mean, it's so intense, but it's such a thrill. It really is.
Yeah.
That's what I always wanted to be, a fighter pilot when I was growing up. I wanted to go to the Air Force or the Navy and become a fighter pilot because I used to watch all those movies growing up, you know, like Top Gun and stuff like that. So I always wanted to be a pilot. I never got to do it though, but I mean, you have to have like perfect vision to be a pilot, right?
Corrected.
Yeah, I think for the military you do, but in private at our flight operation in Minneapolis for our taxi operation up there, we had one pilot that had one eye. But
wow.
The thing is that he went to the FAA and got something called a demonstrated ability waiver. So he showed, there was somebody from the FAA flying with him. He showed that he could do perfect approaches, landings, takeoffs, and everything that anybody else can do. So they signed off on the waiver, and he is now, he may have retired by now, but he was flying for UPS, the big airplanes. So yes, it can be done.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's just corrected as long as it's corrected to that. But I imagine the military can be selective.
Yeah. Yeah, and glasses are okay in the cockpit. Civilian anyway. I think it might be for the military or some of them. I'm not sure. Not familiar much with the military.
And you had a flight school, didn't you, Aggie?
Yeah, we had a flight school and international air taxi that grew into an air carrier.
That's amazing. That's a lot of regulations, a lot of FAA red tape and TSD. I mean, you're talking about every regulation known to man.
Yeah, and the FAA, they're just like Gestapo. They were right on top of you all the time.
Oh yeah.
That's why I got myself a violation one time. I went in and landed in an airport that the visibility wasn't good enough or legal for me to land, but I had people in the back. I had to land, so I went and did it. And they nailed me on it, and I got a 30-day suspension.
Wow.
They don't play around like that either. But you're right, though. When you've been in there sometimes, I mean, it's safer to take that. You got people on board, but you're right. You took the hit on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's they don't care about people. It's just regulations are more important than people.
It's a kind of common theme through everything, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And,
so in talking about people, like in their reality and constructing it, how, if you're in like, let's say like a cycle where you really should jump timelines and you should have done it like years ago, how do you change that state? Because it's kind of like one thing will build on another and you have to completely get a hold of those thoughts. What would you say with somebody constructing, let's say like breaking those cycles or getting out of there? What's a good way of doing that and getting for, just people trying to get into this that are mindful of that, especially that realm that we're literally creating and projecting? What
Are
advice
you
would you give them?
are you thinking of breaking out of the matrix?
In a way, yes, definitely.
Uh, well, there is a way to both be totally in the physical, doing everything that everybody else does, but also be able to think and operate on a higher level of consciousness. And when you do that, the things you learn and the things you gain from that higher level of consciousness, you import it into the physical reality with you. And that's why some people, they can't do anything wrong. Everything they do work out. They don't have problems. I don't really have any problems that I can think of, except I got glasses. I know how to get rid of the glasses, but I'm just too lazy to do it. but once you start meditating, close the mind down, invite the universal mind to give you a path, tell you what, where, and how to start. There may be a starting point that is different for different people because we have different levels of vibration that we operate on. But there is absolutely a way to be able to step out of the physical with your thinking. And this is actually, it has a name. That's CD consciousness. SIDI consciousness. You can Google it and see what you find. I don't know, Google, though, they probably wouldn't be all that good. They hide a lot of things that they don't want you to know. But city consciousness, that means that when you are all mind, you only use the physical body for ease of communication and ease of action in the physicality. This one is a little hard to wrap our head around, but there are people like that. I I have had glimpses of it, but I'm not one of those yet. I have a little way to go. So I can see, and there are times when I have concentrated on something that I've seen, and I find suddenly within a day or so, wow, here it is. That's when you create out of seemingly nothing, like we did with this lady in the hospital. That was not a physical experience. That was an experience from higher conscious thinking by all the people in the group. At that time, I think, well, that many, I think we had 40 people. That's about all. But if a family put together a mastermind, most families, they want the same thing, all of them. If you got 2 or 3 or 4 people, you can create a mastermind, decide what you want, and decide what it's going to look like, feel like, and intend for it to be. And then visualize yourself having it right now with emotion. Emotion and the feeling is the carrier of thought. That is actually the prayer for those that pray. We're calling it prayer. We all pray, but we do it different way. We pray in the form of requests within meditation. Is a form of prayer.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And somebody, I told somebody I was going to do this show with you, and she said, "Why don't you talk about how God fits into this?"
That's excellent. Because there's a spiritual side to all of this, and for us just to ignore that part of it it's leaving a chunk
Yeah.
of it out.
Mm-hmm. Um, if you have read things in the Sumerian tablets, you're going to find out that the word God came out of the Sumerian tablets, actually, the Sumerian writings, and it meant, strictly translated to English, that means, plain and simple, uh, we are, let's see, oh God, I'm drawing a blank there. Great leader is the word for it. Great leader in the Sumerian language is translated to God, because in the Sumerian language, the word God means great leader. And we imported that. God, that sounds good, we'll use that one. And then again, that's been transferred down in the millennia, and it passes through the sun god, and that you go all the way down to Amen Ra was the sun god. And the people in 325 at the Constantinople, or Nicaea at the time, they loved that concept. So they say, oh yeah, we got to use God, the Amen at the end of the prayer. So every time that a Christian pray and say Amen, they are praying to the sun god, because that was his name, Amen Ra. Now that one, I know that one didn't go over too well. I might probably have some flack on that one, but that's okay. And within the universal sphere, which I believe I saw it, it's kind of roundish with all the galaxies and systems in it, there are spiritual entities at different levels of consciousness, all the way up to, I don't know how far up. We're told that there's 12 different levels of spirituality and existence, and okay, it could be. At the highest level, there is all consciousness and light and love. Love is the highest vibration. And then it starts going down, all the way down to fear and other things at the other end of the spectrum. But there are entities living in all of those levels of existence. Now, those levels, those entities, they look different. Here we look around and we all look physical, in the astral world slightly above us. Then you are a little more transparent, and you are a little grayish, and you don't look so much with color as we do. But they all look different. But think about it. The light specter that we know exists, we are only able to see about 3% of the light specter, from all the way down in the lowest vibration of light to the highest. Don't we wonder who live in the other 97% of the light spectrum? There are people, there are entities, and there are angelic beings, and there are highly evolved light beings that live there, that is easily construed to be God by someone that think like physical people do. I heard people say, yeah, I saw God. Well, yeah, you saw something you considered being God because it looked like that to you. But the ultimate creator of the universe was consciousness, a universal consciousness that has unlimited creative capability, and it handed off that creative capability to each one of us to create within the scope of that universal mind. And I know I'm going to have some flack on that too.
Do you think the source, the source sent the Anunnaki here, or do you think they were, or some were evil, some were good? Were they demigods? Well, what's your take on the Anunnaki, Augie?
Yeah, the Anunnaki, they came right 499 years ago. They splashed down in the Arabian Sea, and swam to shore, and then they created this little community they called it Eden, or that became Eden. Now, I they were physical beings like us with great technology, but not very good understanding of the higher vibrations of consciousness. And they found they were digging for gold. That's why they came here. They create gold mines all over southern Africa because there's a lot of gold there. And then they, part of the people that they brought here to work in the gold mines, they didn't like the work very well. It was hot and it was heavy. So they muted. They said, no, we're not going to do it anymore. And the Anunnaki leaders, or gods, they called it, they found a being that they took the being and they changed the genetic structure of that being to become, they called it man, like us.
Adam, right? Adamu or Adam was the first, and it says in the tablets that they made Adam like wiser than they said in that one Sumerian tablet, they say Adamu was the wisest of the Anunnaki. So they considered the first human like Adamu. They considered him one of them, and they considered him to be the wisest supposedly. Did you concur with that?
Yeah, you got it there too, because and before that there were a whole horde of different beings that they created that failed. The genetics that they put in there, some of them ended up with one eye, some only one hand, and then when they were all, but they took care of the failed experiments, and they finally ended up with someone that they called Lulu. Lulu was before Adam, or Adama. Uh, and then, but the first Adam, he didn't, they put him to work, in the mines and everything, but they had to create more and more of them. And they figured it out that no, we have to create a mate for him so he can mate with that, what they created that as a woman, so they didn't have to create the offspring. And then that became us. And then that's what the tablet says, but there actually was only one race of us. There are other races that is seeded from space. The Chinese race is one of those that was seeded from space. The black people in Africa, they were seeded from space. Just ask there is the people.
So I got a question about that, Augie. Is that why we're all different like races and colors down here? Because like we were all seeded from different ET races. And you know what's interesting about that? If that's true, Credo Mutwa, he was the African shaman. He talked about like how the reptilians went there and they kind of seeded humanity. And then the Anunnaki have their story in the Middle East. And then if you go to like the South American tradition, you have Quetzalcoatl and Kukulkan, who was like the bearded god who they thought was like, so it seems like these guys went all over the place, and I wonder if they were all connected.
You got it, because they're probably connected within the concept of the seeding, because there were different races that came from space, and they set their own people there to start a new society. The Dogon people in Africa, they have memories that is passed down from father to son, mother to daughters, 50 generations. And they explain they came from Sirius 2, which is back when they first came to Africa and talked to these people. That was back in the 1930s. We did not know that Sirius was a binary star. In fact, I have seen that it is 3 stars, and they don't know that yet. But they didn't know. They didn't know of more than one.
Yeah.
Now, in 30 years later, they figured out, wait a minute, there's a strong telescope and it says that it's a binary star. So I guess the Dogon people was right after all.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting, Augie? They say that the Sumerians also knew like all the colors and the positions of the planets. Like it makes me think they were either able to see them easier back then, or I think they were taught by the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki taught them the solar system or the local solar system. Would you agree with that? Do you think or?
Yeah, the Anunnaki, they came from the, see, our sun, Sol, is only one of two suns in this solar system. The other one is the Nibiru system. It goes in a very elliptic orbit in between the third and the fourth planet and go back out far into space and then come back in again, and it takes 3,600 years on that orbit. And right now it is close to, actually right now it is on the other side of the sun, going through between the third and the fourth planet, and we're going to head back out.
Well, I got a
Okay.
question about that, and I'm sure the audience wants to know this too. This ties into an interview I did with Carrie Cassidy. I had Carrie Cassidy on my show recently, and she thinks that Three-Eye Atlas comet, or that what they're saying is a comet, but we know it's probably not a comet because it's going through space and supposedly it's dodging things and it's acting very strange. Carrie said she's been working with David Sarita, and they've done, they think that it might be Nibiru. They think it might be the Anunnaki or a group of beings inside that Three-Eye Atlas. Like, do you have an opinion on that?
No, Atlas, from what I have read, actually, I saw a video on YouTube about it too that said it reflects light in a totally different way than what an asteroid would do. This is a solid metallic object. And now it's probably a spacecraft of some type. So we'll see when it arrives. But if somebody want to find out about Nibiru, get up in the morning, find yourself a thick colored piece of glass. Get up in the morning before the sun come up and look at where the sun come up. When it comes up, you will probably see the sun through the colored glass. Make sure you use the colored glass or you hurt your eyes.
Yeah.
And then you'll see another sun right below to the right. There's two suns on the horizon right now. I have seen the pictures of it. A friend of mine in Sweden, he don't believe in anything that I talk about. But I told him, go look. So he took a picture and he sent it to me. And he said, what is that thing? There were two suns in the picture. So he didn't fake that because he don't believe anything I tell him anyway.
So is Nibiru a sun or is it a planet? Or is it a planet that's traveling with a solar system that has a binary sun close to ours or something like that?
Yeah, the Nibiru is a system. It's a solar system.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, because it is a sun that is burning out. It's a brown dwarf. It's a pretty bright brown dwarf. And there's said to have 7 small planets around it. 6 or 7. I think it's 6 or 7, maybe 6. But there are going around the system, and from where it goes, the planets are so tight, they are not coming to make any problems for us. But there may be some challenges from it because behind it there's a debris field, and we may be going through that debris field as we turn around the sun. If we go through it, it could happen like it did 1600 BC when they said that in their old writings, saying that the sky fell down, and there were rocks. There were rocks in the sky that fell. They said the sky broke up into rocks and fell down. So they evidently went through the debris field last time. So there was a lot of rocks. Hopefully, they weren't that big that you could call them asteroids.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to backtrack on, Augie, was I remember I used to follow Gerald Clark. I was a big fan of his before he died. I always thought he had amazing information on the Anunnaki. And he was saying that they found those mines that the Anunnaki were mining the gold out of, and they said that they actually traced those back to 180,000 years ago. So it's like, who was mining gold here 180,000 years ago? It's like someone definitely was. So it's like they're definitely either hiding our history, lying to us about it, or not telling us the whole story. But I think that's like a dead ringer if that's true, that was really going on.
That is probably the Anunnaki also. They stayed around for a long time, and they left. They left the planet about 12,000 years ago, and when they went back, that's they knew that there was a heavenly body that came by that was created tremors in the surface, and they expected there's a huge ice shelf that was laying up on the ground in Antarctica, and it broke and it slid into the ocean and created a phenomenal tsunami that went all around the world, but it was worst in the Middle East because it came up through the over Africa and the Middle East. That tsunami was several thousand feet tall, so that could create problems. And Noah, he knows all about that.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. He had a whole bunch of different kinds of names, right? His name was Untapishtim and Atrahasis and Ziusudra. And, there was a whole bunch of different names for Noah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was going to ask you about next was, this is kind of, I know we didn't plan on talking about this, but I know I have talked to you about this before. Like, I know you're big on longevity and supplement usage. Like, have you found any good supplements lately that the audience will find helpful for their health and longevity? And if you could share some of that with us, that'd be great. I remember the one time I had you on my show, you were telling me about astragalus, and now I take a tonic that has astragalus in it, because I remember you said that was like key to have, right? The astragalus.
Yeah. I want to show you something. I didn't plan on this, but I didn't take the book down, but here it is. And chocolate. That fell down. All right. Guess who fell down? This guy. They got a mind of their own, those little guys. But I did write a book about that and many other things, and this is it. That is Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness. This Bible teaches you how to use your mind in ways you normally would think would be impossible. In there, I talk also about what I do in order for attain longevity. Because in 2009, there were 3 doctors that got the Nobel Prize for discovering an enzyme that reverses the aging process, and nobody told us. What they used in order to attain this, they used a form of astragalus extract. And when they gave this to mice, old decrepit mice with gray hair and so on, they gave them this, and within weeks, the mice were jumping around and they got their hair color back. And now, of course, that's in 2009 until now, a lot more understanding has come. I'm going to be 80 here in a few months, and I don't have much gray.
Wow,
So,
that's
you know,
amazing.
Wow. Yeah, you don't look it at all. Wow.
Congratulations. I mean, you've lived an amazing life. You know, it's all about the degradation of the telomeres, right, Augie? Like if your telomeres
yeah,
you start to age, right?
yeah, science has found out why we age and die. It is the shortening of the telomeres at the end of the chromosome. Every time a cell replicates itself, those telomeres get a little shorter, 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 shorter until there's nothing left. And then the end of the chromosome starts fraying and the cell can no longer replicate itself. So we get stuck with old cells in the body and we get wrinkles and we get all bent over and sick and we start hurting everywhere and we die. Now, I don't believe in that. I don't accept it. In my mind, death does not exist.
Yeah.
So I take astragalus and also another one called Jiaogulan herb. Jiaogulan herb is called the immortality herb in China.
Well, how do you say it again, Augie? How do you say Geogolin?
Yeah, I think I even can show you one of the empty bags here that I get. This I get from New Tree Cargo. That's Jiaogulan is right here. Oh, Christ, you can't see that. And it's called JIAOGULAN powder. But especially for the astragalus, you got to take it in the large doses. Just if you go to the health food store and buy a capsule, take a capsule every day. Yeah, you're gonna feel better, but it probably will not reverse the aging process. You need more than that. You need to. I take a good size teaspoon in the morning and one in the evening, and that's considered to be large doses for that. So that's what I do, and it seems to be working for me.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I started to look a little ragged. I had a lot of wrinkles and gray hair and stuff. All gone. No, not all gone. I still got a few crow's feet, but I'm working on it. This is something
That's amazing.
everybody can do, but you got to get the powder. I buy the astragalus powder by the pound, and actually a kilo, that's 2 pounds. So what I do then, I just don't put it in capsule. It doesn't taste very good. It tastes like wood.
Yeah.
But well, it's worth it. So I don't really. I put some juice with it. Put it in water and put some juice with it, and then it's okay.
What's the function of it? Is it supposed to help boost the immune system, or is it an antioxidant? I mean, for example, like I take this stuff here. It's called moringa, and this is like a super antioxidant. I don't know if you ever heard of this. Moringa. Yeah,
very good stuff.
Too.
Yeah, that's good. Now, when you take the astragalus, it helps the body to create the enzyme on its own. The enzyme is called telomerase or telomerase, depends on how you. Yeah, but don't take my word for anything. Go to the Nobel Committee's website. Go scroll down to 2009. Scroll down to medical submissions and read the papers. In there, one place in there, one of the doctors make the comment, if everybody had enough of this enzyme in their body, there will be no reason for anyone to ever die from old age. Look it up. Now that's powerful.
This is a good question from Kitsalio. Kitsalio wants to know. He says, "Do you think the placebo effect has a good effect on?" Or I'll just read his question. He says, "Do you think the placebo effect works because this is a holographic universe and we're creator beings? So, what if is it a lot of it in our mind too, or do we need that extra like from the supplements to kind of kick it in?"
I think absolutely they will help if you believe it's going to happen. In my mind, I am only 35. I'll never get older. That's when I had most fun, flying through freezing rain and thunderstorms. But when your mind does not accept death or aging, it starts working on the genetics also. So the two of them work together for me.
Yeah,
But I
and
also know the oldest guy I found was 256 years old when he died from an accident. You go ahead and Google the 256-year-old man and you can read all about him. He made
256 years old.
256, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that just I just felt instantly younger there.
And the thing about it is that the government verified his age on 2 occasions when they wrote him a letter, congratulated him on his age. He was a martial art instructor for the Chinese army for as long as anybody would remember.
Wow.
In 256 years old, he had something like 18 wives and 200 grandchildren. So he was.
I bet he did. Oh man.
Yeah, he was very busy.
Probably putting it nicely. Yeah, but that just instantly makes you feel younger because you, at a certain point, you start to think, man, I don't have you're getting to half-life and to some of that stuff, but I guess you're feeding into it and playing into it too. So that's that's awesome.
Yes, and now he's not the only one. I found other old people, and there was a farmer, Iranian farmer that died at 170 something. The government verified his age, and there was other old people in the Middle East, but they did something different than we do. They didn't go to McDonald's. They didn't get Coke. They lived off the land in the wilderness, and they grew their own food. A lot of it was vegetables and things like that. So they didn't eat like we do. Eating the Western diet, I think it's going to be very difficult because you get all the poisons in it.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah, and it's actually really sad what they're doing to us with that. Like, the poisons in the food, it's in the air, it's in the water, and this is verified. It's not just conspiracy theorists. And then once you start to figure out what they're doing, it's like you're like, Jesus, what happened to my reality? Like, what happened to this world? Like that I used to, like it's not the same, or maybe we just didn't know before, and now we're awake to it. And it's like, it's like I don't know why it's so devious. Some people think it's like a reptilian terraforming thing, that like the reptilians are trying to get rid of us and they're trying to terraform the earth because they want it a certain way. That's why the climate change, we do the climate change and all this weaponized weather warfare and stuff like that, and like all the other crazy stuff going on. What do you think, Augie?
Yeah, I know what happened. We fell asleep. We were enjoying comfort. And we said, oh, well, it's okay. I'm comfortable. I'm taken care of. Well, yeah, for a period of time. And then you got to pay the bill. And we are paying the bill right now.
Yeah.
Especially the one older people. I mean, people my age, they most of them are on about 12 to 15 different pharmaceuticals. They're hobbling around on walkers, And I work at least 12 hours a day, and I am probably as sharp as anybody I know. So that is what happens when you take care of yourself. And I'll tell you, when you start taking that astragalus and reversing the aging process, all age-related diseases go away. And that could mean a lot for people, especially if you are up in age, because when you get younger, you get stronger, you can fight off different diseases a lot better. And that's what I talk about in here. You can go to Amazon and you'll find the book and read it. That's what Coley is doing right now, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That's it's so mind blowing to think that way. Do you think that we just kind of get caught into that trap too? It's like as you get older, you think that you have more problems and you get into that like whole it's I feel it sometimes it's kind of easier to go that route than it is to completely defy it and rethink it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So where do you, I guess, in telling people where they can trust and get these things from, where do you suggest one would go to get that? Because I'm really sold on it. I am.
Yeah, I think you can get it in a health food store, but buy it by the pound. Otherwise, it's way too expensive.
And when you say you have to take a large dose, like how much would you say you have to take? And then we have to take a lot of that other stuff, that jing jang powder, or what would you call it? A jingling powder? I can't remember what you call it.
That's funny.
Well, take I get kind of like a rounded heaped teaspoon of astragalus in the morning and one in the evening. Then you're on your way. It's not going to take long. You're going to start feeling different. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel better. In fact, it also does something to your mood. You become more optimistic and ambitious. There's some side effects.
Wow. That's great, though. That's great. Yeah. I'm going to try it for sure. That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. It gets me excited. So I guess since we're talking about this, what's your regimen like during the day? What does Aggie do like to get up and get motivated? I've heard some people too. I guess I wondered your thoughts on a second kind of question is that they say like your childhood and reconstructing that DNA and that youth, that they surround themselves with things that like remind them or take them back to those times.
Well, I'm a little slow in the morning. I don't like to do anything before 9 o'clock. Before that, that's coffee time. So whenever I get up, I just, but time is going so fast right now. But once I take a cup of coffee in the morning and I turn around and bingo, it's noon almost, But I do a lot of writing and because of what I do with interviews and things, and I do some counseling with people on another book that I wrote about universal success principles and how billionaires think. I have some people that I work with, business people at some of the higher level, at the CEO levels and so on. And it is interesting because every time I talk to a new person about different situations within business, I learn things too.
Yeah. My friend Michelle is in the chat. She wants me to ask you this too. That before we forget, I don't want to forget about this. She feels like the sun could be a stargate. Do you have an opinion on that?
That's what I hear from other people. I have not seen that, but that's what I hear. And one person I think say that I have a lot of faith in, and that is Elena Danaan.
Yeah.
I believe she is the real thing. The reason I think that when it comes to the Pleiadian contact, that she was actually taken to the moon in their ship, and she was shown the thousands of med beds in that cavern, and she came back and talked about it. And I believe her. The reason I do that is because she was at a conference in Denver, and she made the announcement to the group when she was talking that at 7 o'clock this evening, we have to break off the conference and go outside and look up because there will be a Pleiadian ship fleet overflight. And the people, that say, yeah, sure. They walked outside, and there was a horde of spaceship flying right by.
Whoa.
So she didn't predict it. She told them that was what's going to happen.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, her book, The Cedars, is amazing. Like
Yeah.
we have a disagreement, but like I still think her book's amazing.
Yeah.
Do we have any? Does anybody in the audience have any questions for Augie while we're waiting?
I apologize on my end. I had a problem with my charger on my computer, so I'm on my phone, Rob. I can't see so much, so I apologize to chat. So if you guys see anything that pops up there, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I got it. I just can't put the messages up on the screen. Let me see here. I have other questions for you.
Yeah.
Do you see a connection between the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Augie.
No, I was just waiting for you.
I was going to say, do you see a connection between the ETs and the idea of universal consciousness? Are they like plugged into the same holographic field we are?
There we go. That's a different subject. The holographic universe. We have found, science has found, it's holographically projected. And within that holographic projection, our physicality is any extraterrestrials coming here, they are part of that holographic projection. But I don't know how far up in the vibrations, up into the spiritual realities that the holographic illusion goes. That I don't know. But I know it in the lower levels of the astral world above us, there still is the illusion. The holographic projection of, because they are sitting there watching us, and as an astral traveler, I've been there to communicate with some of them. They're really confused people. They some of them don't even know they're dead. They just wonder, why in the world don't people want to talk to me anymore? They're miserable.
Yeah.
So we have a commonality. Our spiritual essence has consciousness, or soul, I guess you could call it. Our spiritual essence has consciousness. That consciousness creates this reality that we see around us. On the basis of what we create ourselves within the larger system commonly accepted and laid down for us.
So where does the shared I guess the brain that how you said that they how did you refer to it as oh gosh, I can't remember now, but you're saying collectively, like the duality, you share or you create a new brain? Is that what you were saying before? Where does that fall into all of this?
You mean the city consciousness?
Before, when you were talking about how you said that people will come together and you're co-creating.
Okay, all right. That is a consciousness created. What should I call it? Because when two or more minds unite in harmony, they create a third mind. The mind, not brain, but mind. So that mind, all of us get together. We think about the same thing. We visualize the same thing. We intend for the same thing to happen, and we try to develop the same feelings. And we feed it with love. So that creates a mind structure, a kind of a bubble of creative energy that goes to someone. It could do a healing effect or reach into the quantum existence to match vibration to bring it back here. Everything in the field is sitting there as potential for creative capability within the physical.
Wow.
This is a question we have from Polly in the chat. Polly says, this is a different subject, Augie, but she said this is a really interesting question nonetheless. She says, could mental illnesses be fractured pieces of consciousness stuck in different dimensions? Reason being why people hear other entities. So I guess to backtrack on that, she says, do you feel that mental illnesses, like, someone that suffers from schizophrenia or something like that, could be like pieces of consciousness stuck in different dimensions or something like that?
I don't know. The mental illness can have several different. Well, let's say you're drinking tap water. You're not going to do too well because one of the most toxic substances on earth, fluoride, they put in your drinking water and they make you drink it. Now, that stuff goes in your stomach into the bloodstream and it gets stuck in the brain and it creates dysfunction in the brain, especially in the pituitary and the pineal gland. The pineal gland is your stargate to the universal mind. Now, also, you could have spiritual attachments. There could be a spiritual entity that attaches to you, and their mind is trying to affect yours to get you to do something that they would enjoy or want to see. Believe it, I interviewed a guy yesterday, a hypnotist, and he said he had many of those cases where there were spiritual entities that attached themselves to people, and they could have mental illness, they could be totally nuts, or they could be something that they suddenly start, oh, maybe smoking would be a fun thing to do, so they start smoking because that entity liked to smoke.
Yeah.
So it could come from many different areas.
Yeah. We have another question from Michelle. Michelle wants to know, she says, Rob, could you please ask Augie about the sun gazing and the techniques and benefits of sun gazing?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a guy named Hira Ratan Manek. He was a sun gazer, and NASA did a research on him. They had him observed 24/7 all the time for 411 days, and he did not eat anything during those 411 days. All he did was drink water, and he had salt, so he could have minerals. It was probably pure salt, not that stuff you buy at the grocery store. So there is things that happens in the body when you quit eating. You get closer to the source of all things. You are able to communicate better. And I did this for a good while back now. I did it for a few months. And I'll tell you, it is the energy coming from the sun is sunlight. It goes in the pupils. You look not at the sun, look at the periphery of it and move your eyes around so you don't leave it at the same spot that could hurt the retina. But you do it when the sun comes right above the horizon. The first few minutes, you look at it, and that energy from the sun goes in the eye, and the body is able to transmute it into energy for the body. Don't ask me how that is done. That is above my pay grade. So I would absolutely say if you can start doing it, you're going to have some phenomenal experiences with it. And you get it's great for weight loss. Boy, oh boy, is it. Because that energy coming, it burns It brings the body back to its perfect shape, I guess. What I probably should call it. Condition.
I'm sold on that too. Then, yeah. Wow.
And also another thing, when you start sun gazing, your hunger for food is going to go down and down and down until you no longer need it. After 7 or 8 months doing that, you probably will not need to eat anymore.
So do you think that's why they try and shut you off from that source? Like with the sun? Is that why they try and block it out, or they're trying to do whatever they're doing up there with spraying? I mean, do you think that's a part of it?
I think maybe, but I think it's another reason that with less sunlight, they're trying to do away with the food for people, because that helped their agenda.
So they're in control of it. We can't grow it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, now that makes sense. Ah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
now that just makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. See, we got a program, a UN program ongoing that the intention is to reduce the population of Earth by 90% by 2030. So they used to call it Agenda 21. If you go to Amazon and put my name in there, and you will find a video documentary that I did, Agenda Aliens and Agenda 21. I'll explain all about what the plan is to kill off 90% of the people. Bill Gates is in the front end of it. That's his job. Wow. And now I'll probably get some more flack.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Without a shadow of a doubt, definitely. Oh, they don't stop. They're relentless. They really are.
For now, they haven't stopped yet, but they will, because they are going to have to. It's hard to do this from prison.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Oh. Yeah. I guess too, and real quick, we won't keep you much longer, but can you go over when you have like entities that are attached, like for clearings and things like that, how you're able to get those under control, and what they're feeding off of? Like, what is it? Do you think it's a vulnerability, so to speak, or what is? How are they getting in?
If you are an alcoholic, I will almost say, guarantee you have attachments. Because that alcohol opens up rifts in the bioelectromagnetic field where they can get in and stay. And there are other things that, fear and things like that, they feed on that. But if you have attachments like that, somebody told me not long ago, take baths with Epsom salt. Salt is something that they can't handle. They just go. But better yet, find a good hypnotist. Tell him what you think it might be that you have, this and that kind of, thing going on. And they will take you back and ask you, is that so? And if you say yes, then they will know what to do and to get rid of them, because there are things you can do under hypnosis where you expel the entity.
Well, because I've heard that before about bats, that they can't, the water in itself, they can't handle for long periods of time.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
In the Epsom salt, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Rob, do you have any questions on your end?
We have another show, guys. So, like everybody that's watching on Coley's channel and on my channel and on Rumble and on X, we have a show right after this. In 10 minutes from now, we have a Bigfoot guy coming on, but he does actually. It's going to be like Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal. So, we'll be back on in 10 minutes too. So, yeah, but this was amazing.
Yeah, well, I had fun, But I invite you also to come and watch Broadcast Team Alpha on
An excellent show.
Broadcast Team Alpha on YouTube, or we are on 44 different platforms. You'll find us just about everywhere. But Nori and I are on there on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock East Coast time and 4 o'clock California time. I don't know what it is in Europe. That's 5 hours from East Coast time. And there is watch both sides of that, because there's one with videos and one for live shows. If you only see the live shows, you're gonna miss the videos. So go up and check on both.
Yeah.
We do some really fun things over there, and
you have an excellent show. Yeah, huge fan.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. And also go to Amazon and put my name in there and go there and see all the subjects that I write about. Check on the subjects that is in the book. You're going to find some things there that maybe you have been looking for.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Aggie, so much. I mean, of course, I'll be in contact, and we'll definitely have to plan something again soon. But I really do thank you for all your information and your insight and your awareness that you're bringing to people.
Sounds good. You just call. I'll be there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead then. Thank you so much. And I guess, Rob, we'll go ahead and cut now. And I apologize to chat, but Rob's got it under control. It might not pop up on the screen, but he'll read it for you. So on behalf of SNXRadio and Typical Skeptic Podcast, Rob, we thank you for taking the journey into the unknown. And we will be back again shortly. So if you are watching on X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, stay tuned. We'll be back shortly. So thank you. And we are.